This week, the NASCAR Cup Series travels to Atlanta, Georgia to go to the Atlanta Motor Speedway and race there in what will be the final race on the current configurement of the track. That's right, Atlanta just announced a couple of minutes ago that they would be changing some things about the racetrack. They will be repaving the racetrack and they will be changing some things about the racetrack. We are going to talk about those details. But yes, Atlanta Motor Speedway has been in the Cup Series for quite a long time, but the current configurement, the current pavement has been around for over 20 years, since the late 90s. The quad oval, 1.54 mile quad oval. It used to be just a regular oval, but since then we've seen some great races at Atlanta. We've seen some iconic finishes at Atlanta. We saw Dale Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte in a photo finish. Of course, one of the most iconic finishes in NASCAR history was Kevin Harvick beating out Jeff Gordon by that much just a few weeks after Dale Earnhardt's passing. And of course, Kevin Harvick was driving in Dale Earnhardt's Richard Childress racing car that had been rebranded to the 29 after his death. We've seen other great finishes at Atlanta. We've seen Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson in 2011, Casey Kane, Matt Kenseth in 2014. There's so many great finishes and great races at Atlanta that we could talk about on here, but we are here to talk about what they are doing to the track, how they are changing the surface, how they are going to change some of the banking and the details. They are calling it the next generation of Atlanta Motor Speedway because, you know, the next year's the next gen car, so next gen Atlanta Motor Speedway. They're clever. They're really clever. Anyways, let's look at this nice little graphic they made for us. The current track specs: 2% banking on the apron. The old transition apron has 4% banking, 24% banking in the turns. The front stretch width is 55 feet. The back stretch 55 feet, and the turns are 55 feet. Now let's go to the new numbers, the new specs according to Atlanta Motor Speedway. They are going to change everything. This is going to be a completely different Atlanta Motor Speedway. So let's look at it. The apron will stay the same. That is about the only thing that is staying the same. The new transition apron will be 18 degrees of banking. That's a good chunk of banking, guys. And then the new banking in the turns will be 28 degrees of banking. The 2022 track width will be 52 feet on the front stretch, 42 feet on the back stretch, and the turns will be 40 feet in width. So that is a major change. We are doing this to the track. It's wide like this. We are shortening it. It's not like we're cutting it in half, but we are taking a decent chunk out of the racetrack, out of the racing surface. I don't know if they're going to expand the wall and make more camping room. I don't know if they're just going to make the apron longer or something, but the racing surface will not be as long as the width-wise. It won't be as long as it is currently, and then obviously the banking is going to be increased. I don't know how this is going to race. I got to be honest with you. We saw them at Texas Motor Speedway. We saw them take banking out of turns 1 and 2, and that made the racing worse. In my opinion, and in many others' opinions, it made the racing at Texas Motor Speedway in turns 1 and 2. They lowered it, I think, from 24 to 19 or 20 degrees, and the racing there hasn't been the same. It hasn't been as good in my opinion, so maybe adding some banking can help, but the repave is very necessary. The surface is old, it's worn out. The last few races there haven't been that great, so a repave is going to happen eventually. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what track you're racing at. The asphalt surface is going to get worn out, it's going to get beat up, and eventually it's going to need a repave. So Atlanta finally decided, SMI Atlanta finally said, all right, it's happening now, Atlanta, we're going to repave you. And while we're at it, let's just go ahead and change everything about it. But yes, they're going to change the banking, and I don't even know what it's going to be like. Obviously we don't know what the next gen car is going to race like. We don't know what the surface is going to race like, but new ground, and then obviously the major change is 28 degrees of banking. I mean, for reference, it says here on NASCAR.com that Bristol's banking is 28 degrees, so they're going to have some pretty steep banking up here at Atlanta. They're obviously, as I said, they're increasing it, but and then on the what's it called, on the apron kind of thing, that's going to be increasing. That's kind of like Darlington in a sense. Darlington It's not like most racetracks. It goes from the apron that's a little bit flatter. It's a little bit banked, but it's not like a steep banking. But Darlington, it's kind of like a transition in a sense in the turns. So Atlanta is going to be like that now, where it's got the 18-degree banking on the apron before the transition apron, I should say. So I don't know how you're going to run this track. I don't know if there's going to be like a different groove that they run. I don't know if they're going to lie dime in the corner. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how this track's going to race. I don't know what the drivers think. I don't know what the team owners think. So I don't know how the cars are going to race. I don't know what's going to happen at this track, but a repave was necessary. I'm going to say that. I don't think anyone's going to... I mean, people may be upset by it, but the fact of the matter is that a repave was necessary. The track surface is old. It was going to need to be repaved eventually, so now was a good time to do it before the next-gen car. And then as for everything else, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how it's going to race. I don't know how the next-gen cars are going to handle it. I don't know how the banking's going to look. I don't know how anything's going to be, but I do know it's going to be the same shape, which is a quad oval. I know they're going to increase the banking in most of the places. They're going to shorten the track. I think that could make things interesting. Apparently, they've done some tests on iRacing. I know they are going to... I think that could make things interesting. Shrinking the track width-wise, because it's such a wide track right now. Everywhere you go, you can run the top, the bottom, the middle. You can go 4 or 5 wide and stuff. So I think that will make for a more interesting race from that perspective because, you don't have that room anymore. You don't have that room to go 4 or 5 wide going into a turn. You're going to have to weigh risk versus reward maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of question marks still. I'm not 100% sure on what's going to happen. But, yeah, hopefully the racing is still good at Atlanta. As I said, the last couple of races haven't been great. But hopefully they can have some good ones. Hopefully this change makes the racing even better. Hopefully we can get some of those more classic Atlanta finishes, as they always say. But, yes, they're going to have a lot of changes. And then... yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say, but that's Atlanta Motor Speedway. We got the race on Sunday, the Quaker State 400 at Atlanta. Hopefully it'll be a fun one. Hopefully it'll be better than I heard. I don't remember watching the spring race, but I heard that one was pretty boring. So hopefully this weekend's race is better. But if not, don't worry. We're getting a new car and a new track next year apparently. So hopefully it'll be better. But yes, I don't know when in the schedule it's going to be. They still haven't released that yet. I don't think they will for a few weeks. But I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, great week, and all that stuff.